Jill Vogel's coming up in a few moments. She's got a Christmas message. She's running for lieutenant governor, and we're looking forward to having Jill Vogel on. She's the front runner there. My report on that coming out very soon. Now we like to do the little teasers here on the John Fredericks Radio Network. Hope everybody is having a great day. Joining us now, State Senator Jill Vogel. She's a candidate for lieutenant governor. This race will be decided in June 2017. Yes, it is a primary. And there's three candidates in the race. Jill Vogel, the front runner, Senator Bryce Reeves, and House of Delegates member from Virginia Beach, Glenn Davis. Those are the three in. And so that'll be decided in January. Plus, there's a special election for control of the state Senate in Virginia. Tommy Norman on pins and needles right now because this is the 22nd district. This is R plus 12. This is the seat of Tom Garrett, who got elected to Congress. So R plus 12, look, in the last cycle, Garrett didn't even have opposition. So how could possibly the Democrats win? Well, they got a good candidate in former Fluvanna Sheriff Ryan Washington. But here's the deal. The Republican candidate who was on our show a couple times, Mark Peake, good guy, should win. But Joe Hines, a fly in the ointment, running as an independent conservative. And if he tears enough votes away from Peake, then Dick Saslaw, party time on January 10th. We'll see how it all plays out. Joining us now, though, Jill Vogel. Senator, good to have you with us.
Good morning, and Merry Christmas. And I can't believe it. Did I hear you say the front runner?
Yes, you are the front runner.
The
yes.
last time you introduced me, you left out that key point, I thought.
Well, it takes me time.
Thank you. You would never, I don't think you conceded that last time. So
no, I did not. The last time I had you on, I had this as a three-way dead heat, but right now in my column coming out before Christmas, you will be tabbed as the front runner. I mean, I think you're the one to beat in this race. There's no question about it.
I'm honored because you are the savant and the great predictor of all outcomes. And, but you know what? With that comes great responsibility. So thank you for that.
You can be the front runner, but you still got to win, right?
That's right. I got to work harder than anybody and, travel more, raise more money, and most of all, deliver the message that everybody in Virginia is so desperate for a candidate to deliver so that we can, turn Virginia around. We have a lot to do given what's happened in the previous administration. So I hope everybody will help and get behind us and work.
So, Senator...
But most importantly, it's my Christmas message, right? It's Merry, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and I hope that your one present venture is a great success.
Let's get to your lieutenant governor campaign. You get to raise money up until you go in this session, and then you can't raise money until you're out. But your two opponents are in the same situation, right? So everybody's in the same boat. Basically.
Everybody has to take a timeout. The ethics rules in Virginia, which, mind you, are not very strict, and that's another point for another day. We desperately need real ethics reform in Virginia. But beyond that, the ethics rules in Virginia do say that during a legislative session, you are prohibited from raising money, which makes perfect sense. You don't want people coming in and writing you a check and then having a discussion about how you're going to vote.
Right.
So during the session, you are not allowed to raise any money. So everybody running statewide who is in the state legislature has to take a timeout. And that will be hard because obviously when you're running in a primary, raising money is a significant piece of what it takes to win and what it takes to pay to get that message out. You got to pay for mail. You got to pay for media. And if you can't raise the money, you can't do it. So for me, it's been a really difficult, part of this to split the time between, going all over the Commonwealth, visiting every business I can find, every chamber of commerce, every local organization that wants to meet with me, but then at the same time carve out the time to do the fundraising, which is hard. And it's especially hard during the holidays to hit people up for money and say, hey, I got a lieutenant governor's race coming up, and explain why the stakes are really high and why it matters in Virginia, when it's like, well, shoot, it's December of 2016. This is not until, November of 2017. And I've got to make the case that, well, wait a minute, we go to session, and, we have a timeout, and it's kind of blackout time. And then pretty much when session ends, it's go time. There's not a lot of time between when session ends and when we're actually, in the primary. And you've got to have your money raised to run that air war and to run that ground game and to be organized. You've got to have it raised and in the bank and be prepared with that plan ready. And you can't have a plan unless you have the money. And you can't write the plan unless you know how much money you got and how much money you're going to have. So
right.
I've tried to be, really focused and organized and respectful, certainly, of the campaign in Virginia last year. But, leveraging the issues that were really important around the presidential election and those congressional races last year to get out and talk to people about what's so critical, in state government and what's been happening with, this governor and this attorney general and this lieutenant governor and why we need a change.
Now,
and I think it's resonated. I think people understand, and so I'm optimistic that we can win in 2017. And I just hope that folks will get on board.
Senator Vogel, you talk about raising money you're going to have after the session ends. We're at the end of February, so you got 3.5 months to do that. What are people saying when you go out, you're meeting with them now? I mean, what's been the main message, the feedback that you're getting from average people who you're meeting with now?
It's all about the economy. It's all about jobs. It's all about changing the tax climate. If you're a business owner or a small business person, or even just somebody who pays taxes, everybody is concerned about, the trajectory of how everything is just bigger, and more expensive, and more bloated. Certainly the regulatory environment. Everybody talks about that. Every small business person, that's the first thing out of their mouth. And I think that, most people feel like that Virginia has really suffered from, in some cases, really overt bad decision-making, but in some cases just benign neglect. Mm-hmm. There's so much that needs to be done. Our tax code desperately needs to be modernized. We need, we've got B-poll still on the books. We've got, businesses that are leaving Virginia because, honestly, businesses and people are like geese. They can migrate to where the best tax and best economic environment is. And people are leaving Virginia, and it's having a terrible impact on the Commonwealth. And they're making investment decisions based on the tax climate that's better in other places. So, everybody's feedback is overwhelmingly the same, and that is it's largely the economy and jobs and people wanting to invest in the private sector and finding roadblocks at every turn.
Now, as you get into the General Assembly and then you get out, you got 3.5 months. You're a mom, you've got 6 children, you're also a lawyer, so you're working, you got to go to the General Assembly. Is there going to be a time that you're going to take a leave of absence from work and just campaign nonstop?
Yes. And if you're going to do anything, you need to do it well. And this is a project that I'm going to take on one time. And this matters to me, it matters to Virginia, and it matters enormously to the people who have invested in my campaign and need us to turn Virginia around. And so I have to make that commitment, and I have to, make this a full-time endeavor. And that's pretty much where I am right now. I'll spend all day today. I'm going to be in Arlington and around Northern Virginia today, working on the LG race and meeting with people. And, there's not much time left. And I know, again, people are like, oh, it's not till 17, but it really is now. This is go time. So I have to do this pretty much full-time until session starts. And then when the Senate session starts, I have to chair a finance subcommittee, and I chair privileges and elections, and there'll be an enormous amount of workload that will, pull me off of focusing on the LG race. But those will be my 2 principal responsibilities. Obviously, the most important thing is my family, so they come first. So I make an effort every day. I live close enough to Richmond, even though you mentioned it's 9 hours away. It seems far. I live close enough that I can come back and forth every day. So I come home every day to be with my family because I still have young children, and that matters most to me. And sometimes they can come to Richmond. But so that's got to be number one. And, my commitment to this LG race and my commitment to the constituents I represent in the state Senate is next. And then I've just got to be it until we work this through all the way through 12-17 and win. But we can win in Virginia. And there are a lot of people who say, well, you know what, Virginia's a blue state.
Right.
We can't do it. And I can commit to you that I am talking to Republicans and independents and Democrats, and they are on board. And they're supportive. And, my message isn't a shrill partisan bunch of rhetoric. It's about issues that really, really matter in Virginia. And it's about, modernizing our tax code. It's, about getting people's freedom back, their health care back, their decision-making back, getting the regulatory environment turned around, getting government out of your life and out of your business and out of the regulatory environment. Those are really simple things that we can do that would, dramatically change Virginia. And everybody believes in that. It's really simple. But you've got to commit to do it, and you've got to have strong statewide leadership that will, push on those issues. And look what happened in this country in this most recent election, and I think there's been a real, it's given us a real kick. I think it's given my campaign a real kick, for sure.
Well, look, you're the front runner now. If you're the nominee, you're most likely going to be running against what I've got as the Democratic front runner, Justin Fairfax. Guy's a very tough campaigner. He's very high energy. I think it's going to be a very spirited race. Plus, ideologically, you couldn't find, I don't think there's a single issue that you guys probably agree on. So I think it's going to be a very fun, very vibrant race if indeed you are the nominee, and that'll be decided in a June primary. Hey, Senator, we're out of time. Thanks for being with us. Hey, for more information, you can go to Vogel, Vogel, Vogel4Virginia.com, Vogel, that's FORVirginia.com. Jill Vogel running for Lieutenant Governor. Jill, Merry Christmas to your family, and I hope you have a great holiday, and we will have you back right after the new year. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas to you, and good luck with that one present.
I know, it's my only responsibility. Can I pull it off?
I hope you can rise to the occasion, and I hope you have a wonderful Christmas and a happy New Year, and I look forward to being on a lot in 2017.
Tell your husband I had to take the day off to buy one
I'm going to tell
present.
him. He's going to love that.
That's how ridiculous I am. Thanks for being with us, Senator Vogel. Thank you so much. All right, you're on the John Fredericks Radio Network. We're out of time. Keep it right here.